And welcome to this week's history lessons. I hope you enjoyed doing a bit of a different task for our curriculum lesson on Friday. I hope it made you think about your feelings and just think about how it's okay to sometimes have those days where we're feeling a bit miserable and a bit glum, but also I hope you dressed up and put something on fun over the weekend that you enjoyed wearing, because I definitely wore my bright yellow tracksuit when I went shopping in Lidl and it made me feel so much happier, especially when it was very rainy. So before we start our history lesson, I just want to show you some amazing work that we have already been sent through about timelines. So let me show you what we've been sent in. So these are some from some of your friends, and this was the work that we looked at, focusing on the past, the present and the future. So this person who sent me in their timeline, wow, I feel like they've had a fantastic childhood, because this person used to live in New Zealand near the beach. And I'm very jealous because I've not been on holiday for over a year now, so I would love to go to New Zealand. They sound like they had a great childhood before they moved back to Sheffield. And then in the present day, on the day that they submitted this, they had built a snowman. So they were thinking about what they had done that day. And that is what they wrote on their present section, which is great. And in the future, this person would like to be a pilot, which I think is a great job. And don't forget to remember me, because maybe I can get free flights to different places and even get to go to New Zealand. Who knows? I also had some another amazing pieces of work submitted with some great dreams and aspirations on. This young person here wrote how when they were younger, his mum used to read him lots of little books, but now he can read books all by himself, which is fabulous. When this person's older, he wants to become a footballer, which is a great aspiration. You'll have to teach me how to play football because I'm not very good at kicking a ball at all. Down at the bottom, we had another person who submitted some work, and they wanted to be a charity worker in the future, which is just very exciting. And also, this other person here who used to live in Pakistan, which is amazing, another different country, another exciting experience. And in the future, they'd like to be a doctor, which is very inspirational. So some great work there that you'd sent me through. I've also had some other work sent through on things that you are doing in your days at home. And it's good to see that lots of you are doing lots of learning, okay? I can see lots of phonics, lots of school learning, but I also like to see that you are getting a bit of downtime. I can see that some people are going out for a walk when it's not raining, playing some games, having a movie night or reading a story, which is just so fabulous to see. Okay, so it was really nice for you to send those in for me. Put a big smile on my face, just making me realize how fabulous you all are with your dreams and aspirations for the future. So well done with all that history work that you've done. So today's job, you might need to get your mums and dads, or even your grandparents if they're at home, or you can give them a call, involved. And we're going to have a little think about what it was like for different generations of our family. So we're going to have a think about what it's like today, and also compare that to what it was like at school or after school for our parents and grandparents as well. And I'm going to show you a couple of clips, and one of them is going to be around playtimes and what your parents and grandparents might have gotten up to at school, and also another is the sort of games that your parents and grandparents had at home as well. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I'm going to share with you a couple of video clips. The first one is on a school playground, so I hope you can see that. I'll make it a bit larger. And you should see straight away, we've got two girls in their school uniforms swinging themselves around, looking like they're having lots and lots of fun. We've also got chalk, so some things that we also have today, and playing cards. And skipping ropes, which is definitely something we still have school, isn't it? So if we're thinking about those similarities and differences, this is something that's quite similar, isn't it? That we have some of these toys that we get to play with in school. They're very good at skipping. I don't know if I would want to have to run in there. Oh, we've even got a young man here helping out the caretaker and putting all the rubbish away, which isn't something I see today. So maybe that's something that is slightly different. And we've got more groups here. And I think in the background, you can see that there's a tennis court, which looks like they're doing a bit of football. Okay. And we've also got hopscotch. So if any of you have played hopscotch, okay, we've got hopscotch on our playground. So you might have seen it as we walk past where we jump along the numbers. So that is great. And there is a picture, look, of the school and the school field, which is fab. So I'm just going to stop sharing that one. And that was about all the games that we used to play at playtime. But now I'm going to show you some toys that we had, or that your parents had. And you might notice some of these from when we looked at our lesson the other week. So I'm going to get this one up. There we go, just wanted to make sure it was on so you could see it at home. Oh yes, lots of these toys. Hopefully mums and dads will start to notice them in a second. Okay, oh, football anthems, Tamagotchis. I know somebody mentioned these. Football boots, overhead projectors. Oh yeah, I love playing these. PlayStations, lots of different toys, lots of different bags, lots of different food that we used to have, and shops. Okay, so fashions were very, very different. Okay, there's lots of different clothing that you might even see that think, wow, we did not have that when we are growing up. But your parents and your grandparents might be looking at this and thinking, I know what some of these are. Okay, some of these little treats and these cartoons as well, or even the equipment that we had in school. Oh, a water pistol. I used to love a water pistol, but we do still have water pistols now, don't we, as well, which is great. Fabulous. Right, I'm going to stop us there because I think I've made your imaginations and hopefully your parents' imaginations start to jingle there. And I'm going to freeze it on those ink cartridges because I remember when I was at school, I used to have a fountain pen and I had to put my own ink cartridges in. Which was so much fun. So I'm going to stop sharing that and I want us now to have a little think about those videos. So what did we see in those videos at playtime? So just have a little think. What did you see in the videos? So at playtimes, Okay, so at playtimes, I saw that our parents and grandparents used to get chalks and map out hopscotch on the floor. I also saw that there were like tennis courts or football courts where people could play football. I also saw that groups of boys and girls were playing card games. They were also doing skipping. And something that was different that we saw, wasn't it, was the young boy helping the caretaker, so take the rubbish out, which is definitely something we wouldn't do today. We might help him with different jobs, but we wouldn't necessarily carry the big heavy bins along the playground. Games, well, there was lots of games that we still have today, and they are including, we still have hopscotch, don't we? And we still have skipping ropes. But things like Tamagotchis, we don't still have Tamagotchis now, but I loved having a Tamagotchi when I was younger. You can still get them, but they aren't a toy that I think are a bit of a trend. PlayStations, though, have come a long way, and although this is a very old model on the screen, you all still have PlayStations and a lot of electronic games. You might have also noticed that fashions and clothes and sweets have changed, but some of your parents might have noticed some of them and said that they were their favourites. You'll have to ask them at home. So here is a rough timeline of your parents' or your grandparents' day. And I want us to have a little think at what things are different or even similar to what we do today, based on the timelines that you wrote last week and the ones we've just had a look at. So I'll talk through this now and just show you what sort of things your parents' days might have looked like. So they would have woken up, got dressed and eaten their breakfast, brushed their teeth, and then here I put they would walk to school. Have a little think. Is that something that we do today? Does everybody in our class walk to school? Then they would do their learning, have some lunch, carry on with their learning, and then it'd be time to go home. And then when they get home, they would help around the house with the cleaning and the washing and the playing outside before having some tea and go to bed. So have a little think, is there anything after school that's maybe different to what we do today? So here are our two timelines, and I want us to start comparing them and having a think which events are the same and which ones are slightly different. So we're starting to think about how our generations are different. So at 7 o'clock on both of our timelines, we'd say roughly that we and our parents would get up. It might be a little bit earlier, it might be a little bit later, depending on what happens. Then we would start to brush our teeth and eat our breakfast. That would be quite similar. But then here, look, straight away, I've got something that is different. So today we can get to school using lots of different transport. We can drive, we can cycle, we can get a bus, we can get taxis. But particularly when our grandparents were young children, there weren't that many forms of transport around, and a majority of our parents, when they were going to school, would be walking. Okay, so they'd be getting out and walking, which I know some of you do as well, which is great, but they were a lot more active than what we are and using a lot of walking to get to places. Then we'd still do our learning, we'd have lunch and we'd go home. But have a little look from here onwards and tell me what is different about our end of day, so what we would do after school, compared to what your parents or your grandparents would do after school. Have a little look and have a little think. So you're right, we'd still go to bed at roughly the same time. We'd still have our tea. We've spoke before, haven't we, about how that might be different because foods from different cultures have now come across to England, so we are able to learn about different cuisines and different foods. So the type of food we might be eating could be different. But look here. So this is quite different as well, because a lot of you, and particularly you've said it on your timelines and the work that you've sent in for me as well, go on iPads or play on electronic devices when you get home after school. I know that's not everybody, but a lot of people do. However, when your parents were young, we didn't have things like iPads and laptops. And if we did, it wasn't to the extent that we have them now, or the technology wasn't good enough. So we do a lot of things such as playing outside to keep us entertained, okay? We'd be playing with our balls, we'd be playing with our bikes, going out and playing with our friends. And we'd also help around the house. So we'd do some washing and some cleaning, and maybe even some cooking, which I know some of you are helping your parents do during this lockdown, which is lovely. So I want us now to have a little think on things that are similar and things that are different between the two generations. So us and your parents and grandparents. Okay, so we're going to start thinking about comparing those generations. So I said, didn't I, that something that is similar is that we all go to school. All go to school. Another thing that we could have that is similar is that we all play hopscotch. Okay, I want you now to have a little think what other things between the two generations that we do at school on our timeline of a school day are similar. Just spend a couple of seconds having a little think. I know, we could say that we all get up at the same time, so wake up times. I could say that we all finish school at the same time. I could also say, and I know this isn't necessarily thinking about timelines, but if we're comparing different generations, then we could say that your parents had to wear a school uniform and we have to wear school uniforms today, don't we? And it also might be very specific there and put PlayStations. Yeah? So things that were different then. So things that were different from when your parents or your grandparents were younger compared to now. Just have a little think. What did we say was different? I remember. So helping carry the bins, helping the caretaker. Can't spell caretaker today. Taker to carry the rubbish bins. Other things that were different, we could say that children used to play out more, didn't they? So less electronic items, e.g. iPads. We didn't really have those when I was younger, when I was growing up. So more time outside. And we could even say, what about the cars? Because we said about coming to school, didn't we? So less cars compared to today. So they're just a few different ideas around the similarities between our parents' generation and the differences as well. Now, I want you to have a little discussion with your mums and dads at home and see if you can think of a timeline so that they can show you what they got up to every day when they were younger. And then have a little look at your timeline that you've written and have a little look at their timeline and see if you can compare it. Okay, is there anything that's similar or is there anything that's different on it? And then once you've done that, then I would love it if you could have a little go now at trying to think of the similarities between your timeline and your mum and dad's timeline, or even the differences. And if you've got aunties and uncles or mums and dads who live in different countries or grandparents who live in different countries, it would be great if you could see if anything that they do in their day is different to today as well. Okay, interesting to see different perspectives from different countries and cultures as well. So have fun doing that little history task where we're comparing our different generations. I've popped this up on the school website if you'd like a copy of the sheet, but if not, then you can have a go at drawing a timeline across your page for you and your parents, and then you can just draw a nice column and write the things that are similar or things that are different, or even draw a picture. That's absolutely fine, okay, to explain those differences. Have a little go at doing this task, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get lots of talking out with your mums and dads at home as well, and maybe you even want your brothers and sisters to join in. Enjoy, and I will see you later for phonics. Bye.